again for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, bringing you the news unfiltered. And we have a special guest for our Mighty Men's Thursday. So let me do Mighty Men introduction, and then I will bring our guest up on the stage. To come on the show. His name is Marcus C. Williams. I'll bring him up here on the stage. Hey, Marcus, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are always like busy and getting things done for the community. I see you outside. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself and also tell the people here what it is you've been working on.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Marcus C. Williams. So I live in Rochester, New York, which is in what you would consider Western New York. We like to call it upstate, but North Country doesn't agree with us. So I love it here. It's pretty unique in the fact that we are completely run by one party in the area I am. So I'm working actively to promote biblical and scriptural values, while at the same time encouraging people to get involved in local politics so that we can chart our future together by increasing the amount of opportunity for us to thrive as a community. A lot of what's happened is our elected officials have not been focusing on the issues in our community. So what I do is I go out and about twice a month, I'll do constitutional lessons. I also do other civic lessons regarding how to get involved locally and engage your local elected officials, because that's very important. The more people know about what each level of government does, the more they can get done. Blessings, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And this is kind of how I met Marcus. I saw him on X and I was like, oh, this is great. You know, someone else involved in politics. And as you guys know, I'm the founder of the Redemption Party. And so I'm always reaching out to those in the community that are working, especially grassroots, in this political, I should say, climate that we have today. It's changed a lot. I'm 53 years old. And so I've seen people, you know, be extremely modest with their political views to where we are now with Donald Trump. And I don't want to say anything goes, but yeah, you can just kind of throw it out there, see what sticks to the wall and what people gravitate to or listen to. I actually saw a Sirius XM interview with Jasmine Crockett, and I've put some of those videos on my account, and just some of the things that she was saying was very interesting because she said, you know, yeah, they've kind of chosen a white male. I won't say in her specific vernacular, but she was like, yeah, they've chosen a white male, the donors have. And I was like, interesting, because I would think you would want that chosen by your party. So thank you for letting the cat out of the bag on that one, right? So we know that you know what I'm saying? You are a party determined to rule over people. You really don't care what they think. And it's really shocking to me with the party. She also, you know, brought up some other key issues that I thought were interesting, you know, as far as voting, messaging, and yeah, it was an eye opener, you know.
I saw that. It was very interesting, that interview. It kind of was unfortunate because what you saw is that there are people inside the party like herself who don't identify what the actual issues are that are going on. So this is the biggest problem that the Democrats have. If the donors are saying, hey, we want a white man, I'm not saying that that's the best pick for their party, but they've run women multiple times in the past, and clearly that hasn't worked out for them. And they are not taking the chance to reassess that, which is a big issue for them, because they want
It
to
is.
force down the people's throats what they want to see versus what the people actually want. That's kind of also how they do leadership in their party,
Yes.
which is sad and tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, in my opinion, that's what led to their defeat in this last go around, right? You know, a lot of people were like, yeah, Kamala, she didn't have that much time and this and that. And they're like, what do you mean she didn't have this? She was the vice president.
That's right. That's right. She was
She,
also a senator.
you know what I'm saying? She was
Yeah.
there. She was second in the seat. If anything happened to Joe Biden, she was going to be our president.
Yep.
You know, to say she didn't have enough time to run was actually ridiculous. It was, he should have showed us who she was, and she did. And the American public didn't want that anymore. They didn't want it. And she also
They.
said another that was
Mm-hmm.
interesting. She actually said that the intelligent people voted the right way, which was, obviously for Kamala. But she was like, those who listen to the legacy media as opposed to the fake news, they actually made a better choice. And I was like, wow, that one shocked me. That one shocked me because now
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are trying to do podcasts. They're trying to catch up to
Yeah.
alternative
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. Well, but I don't think the issue was that they lost because of alternative media. They lost because, like you just said about Jasmine Crockett, they don't listen to their donors. They don't listen to the people that they represent, their what you would consider their traditional base. They're not
Mhm.
listening to anybody, and they're pushing this agenda, which is even too radical for the majority of the people that are registered in their party. So they lost on their own volition. They did that all themselves, and they still don't want to get right. So they're trying to. This is why everybody was concerned about them manipulating the vote by pumping in people from other countries and stuff like that, because it's clear that now they're even barely to win on their own party voting for their people. We have a
Yeah.
similar issue here where I live, where last year, like I said, I live in a completely Democrat-run city. We're outnumbered 6-1 here, and last year, none of them came out to vote. It was a president. It was a presidential election.
Wow.
We had a countywide 30% turnout, and we had a citywide. The turnout was only like 25% or 24%. So it was terribly low. And again,
Wow.
we're outnumbered 6-1. So that just shows you that like
Mm.
none of the Democrats came out.
No.
So
No.
it's powerful in if you assess it like that. It's very
Mhm.
powerful. It's a rebuke of all of the stuff that they've been pushing, but also shows that this is what happens when a party completely loses focus on the
Mm.
everyday issues and the common people.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people, there are people doing, the walk away from the Democratic Party. I actually saw someone, it was a Republican. She said she was walking away from the Republican Party. And I'm like, you were never a Republican. If you're walking
Right.
away from the Republican Party, you were never a Republican. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about a Republican that follows Trump. I'm just talking about a traditional conservative Republican, right? Because everybody knows in
Right.
both parties, these individuals that run, they come and go. They're here every 2 to 4 years or
Right.
6 years if they're in the Senate. So they're not forever, even though they seem like forever. And that needs to change, obviously. They do need to put in
Yep.
place term limits. But, just looking at that, I'm like, look.
Well, it's crazy because I tell people like this all the time. What we're experiencing right now is a shift inside the Republican Party. It's
Yes.
actually a return to the values of our traditional party. So
Hmm.
right now we have people that are willing to actually challenge a lot of these elites or the establishment inside the party. And that's
Right.
where you have grassroots movements like MAGA, like America First, like the
Yes.
Tea Party, and other individual groups. We've even got a bunch of constitutional Republicans standing up now. And honestly, it's
Mhm.
a beautiful change.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I'm really looking forward to the Democrats getting there, but it's almost like they're so bent on doing the opposite that they look crazy. They
That's
look
it.
crazy. I'm like, what is wrong with you? There are just certain things that Republicans and Democrats should agree on, period, because it's what's best for
Right.
the American people. And they've lost that part. They truly have. And it's not just the Democrats. I mean, can get down with Republicans too. At a certain
Mm-hmm.
juncture, you just need to do what's right for the people. That's who put you there, and not do what's right by your donors.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Yeah.
really see from a lot of these individuals in the House and in the Senate. It's like, I know who runs you. It's not your
Yeah.
district.
Yeah.
It's not your district.
That's we have that serious problem in my city here. Like I said, we have one party rule, but the scariest part is that Albany and New York City runs Rochester. None of
Wow.
our assembly people or our city council are willing to speak up against the horrible policies from
Mm.
downstate that are impacting us because they have so much power that they're worried about losing their position or losing their donors or
Mhm.
them doing something that makes them look bad. And
Wow.
the whole time, the whole community is becoming disserviced by these elected officials because it's one party rule and none of them, unfortunately, have any spine, no wherewithal.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think when this all shakes out coming up here in 2026, we're really going to see a referendum on a lot of seats in the House. And I know that the incumbents right now, they think they're untouchable, right?
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
well, we're just going to win. It's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think you guys are listening to the grassroots. You're not really listening
yeah,
to the rumblings of the people because, I have relatives that are Democrats. They don't agree with this transgender stuff. They're
yeah.
like,
No,
we don't even understand it. And then for those that are of Christian background
yeah.
to support it the way they do, I'm like, what are you
Scary.
doing? What are you doing? Okay.
It's scary.
No. And of course, they look like us.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's really driving me crazy. I was like, I didn't see any other Asian or Caucasian people from Christian backgrounds in the Democratic Party caping for the LGBTQ. Did you? Did I miss it?
No, no, no,
Okay. All
no.
right. I'm
Because
just making sure.
they pushed it on our people, and now everybody's got to be alphabetized, and it's a problem. They pushed it through media. We've seen what they've done through the music industry and how all of these
Mhm.
artists are all of a sudden it's coming out that the CIA is running these artists
Yes.
to subjugate our people and
Mhm.
to put into our minds stuff that's not good for us. I was at a forum the other day with one of our, what do you call them? She's a school board commissioner, so I guess the school board people. She's actually running for re-election, and she did a community concerns thing. And I brought up, I said, I have a concern about them putting that in our schools.
Right.
Uh, but it's not just that they're putting that in our schools. It's that they're putting that in our schools and our students aren't able to read, write, or do basic math.
Right.
So how is that a priority for you
Mhm.
if they're not
Yeah.
able to do the functional things that educational system is supposed to teach them?
Right. Just the
You
basics.
know, it's just a poor prioritization of what needs to be done for our nation and our people to be successful. And honestly, that's why they've pushed all this alphabetism, because if you don't know yourself, then you can't be able to maximize your own potential. What's in the art of war? What does it say? To know thyself and to know thy enemy, you will
Mhm.
be undefeatable, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. You won't
Right.
know loss in 1,000 battles, something like that. But
Right.
that but if you don't know yourself, how are you going to be able to grow as an individual? How are you going to be able to see opportunities in the future?
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah,
It's
it
sad.
truly is. It truly is. And, a lot of these educators, it's like, are you really looking 30 years down the line?
No.
Because you're going to be somewhere with a bedpan, trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to need the same people that you're putting through school right now to have the empathy and sympathy and the education to take care of you. You're creating a
Oh,
whole generation of uneducated people acting like, well, they're not going to be taking care of me. I'm going to be taken care of by somebody else. No, you're not. It's going to end like a
Well,
bad movie where
yes,
you're
I've got
completely helpless.
yeah, I've got a video of I don't remember whether it was Washington University or Columbia University just the other week where they had it where they had the anti-American terrorist jihadists out there
Wow.
and they were chasing down this woman with a cane and they were like and the police were like, oh, you should respect your elders or whatever the case is, and they were like,
Hmm.
why should we respect them? They should all die because they didn't care about us. And I'm like, these are the people that are about to be in charge.
Look,
these are the these are the people. Like, is that what we really want? Like, this can't be what we want. This is a bad step forward.
it is. It's truly bad. And like I said, I don't think they've really thought it
Mark,
through there in the
let's
moment,
I think
but
it's
they're
my
really not.
conference number. City Council.
Yeah, but they're really not.
Mention
Oh, look, campaigning while he's on the move. But yeah, but people really haven't thought it through the detriment, just that example that you used. It's like, yeah, you're not thinking down the line, just the effects of what's going to happen. But I did want to get your opinion on the SCOTUS hearing that's going to be happening today on the 14th Amendment, where Donald Trump, he actually challenged birthright citizenship and stating that any children born here after February 23rd, 2025 would not be considered automatic citizens of the United States, especially if their, parents were here undocumented, which is criminal activity.
right. So all of that was originally put in place. That and a couple of the other laws surrounding the 14th Amendment were all put in place in relation to the freed slaves
Mhm.
and because of things like the Dred Scott decision and
Right.
stuff like that. But it seems like we've lost that. But
Mhm.
it's also because they continue to steal away the history and heritage of Black Americans in this nation and try to use us as a what would you call it, as a Trojan horse to usher
Yes.
in all of this other insanity, be it alphabetism, be it illegal
Yeah.
aliens, be it
Mhm.
whatever. They do
Yeah.
DEI, all of this other insanity, which
Right.
we know the DEI what we got 4.6% of the jobs for DEI, you
It
know?
doesn't even benefit
Se-
us. It benefits
70,
everybody
right.
else. Like affirmative action is
Yep,
supposed to
yep.
benefit us. It benefited everybody else. And we're all sitting here like, okay,
Yeah,
thanks for using me, but I didn't
yeah.
benefit from any of this. Like, what?
Well, but this is what they do. So I'm glad. I hope that we've got a couple of good judges. I'm sure Clarence Thomas will
Yeah.
read it for what it is. I'm
Yeah.
not sure about the chief judge. He's kind of wishy-washy sometimes. We'll see.
Yeah.
And the lady, what's her name? Oh my goodness.
I know Amy Comey Barrett.
Yes, Amy Comey Barrett. Oh
Look, I
my
know their
goodness.
names.
I'm like, I just kind of wish she has not been as focused on upholding the Constitution the way that I would
People
like her to
warned
be.
him. People
Let me
warned
say
him
it like
about
that.
her.
They did.
They
They
warned him
did.
about her and Kavanaugh. They were like, we don't know, bro. We don't know. They
They
seem kind of sketch. You
they
might want to put
definitely did.
somebody in here.
But she's been anyway. I don't want to do that too much. But
Right.
she's not so good, to say the least. And I think that the biggest issue is if we get this win, because that's what it would be. It would be a
Yes,
big win, not
it
just
would be.
for Black Americans, but for our whole country.
It would be.
And
Yeah.
that's what we need
Hmm.
right now. There's a big division going on right now in the Black American community where we talk about, oh, we need more Black excellence. We need to talk more about our heritage and stuff like that. But everything that they do is to erase our heritage and our lineage. So I'm really looking forward to this decision. And I hope that they make it so that, because it was for specifically for freed slaves and American Indians. That's what it was for.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it
Actually,
was for.
yeah, I reviewed it in my show earlier this week. And then today, I brought it back up again because even when you read it, it says all persons or naturalized. Now, if it was
Yeah,
specifically for just anyone and everyone, it would have said any and all legally.
exactly.
It does not say that.
Yes.
And the all persons it referred to were slaves, because to your point with the Dred Scott decision, had that not been the decision made, and it would have assumed that any persons here in the country were citizens, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just
Yeah.
those consequences of the linguistics. So I'm like, no, you can't just have a baby here illegally and expect that child to be a citizen. So, they would definitely bring up Vice President Harris, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, she was born here illegally. Her parents had
Yep.
overstayed their visa. And that's why her mother moved to Canada. It's like, why would you move to Canada if your kid's a US citizen? Because you knew
Yep.
she wasn't.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Well,
And it's just that.
listen, you're very generous. I am not so generous. I believe that everybody that is here illegally or fake asylum seekers, especially those on overstayed visas, those are the people that need to be get out first. Overstayed visas, because they know that they're wrong. They know that they're wrong. So
Oh yeah.
I'm not a
Oh yeah.
fan, and I'm really hoping that this goes through, because we've got too many people that are using children as anchors, the way that many people use children to leech off of the government as well.
Yeah.
Like we had that one. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and bring up amnesty in 1980s. We
Mm-hmm.
should go back that far, because they even said then that they were going to clean up the immigration laws and make it easier for people to have a pathway to citizenship. That never happened. And people have still just used the 14th Amendment, to your point, as an anchor.
Yeah. And I look at it like you look at what happened with the Dreamers, right? How many years have the Democrats been promising the Dreamers that we're going to make you a pathway to citizenship? We're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. You know, they had 8 years of Obama. They had 4 years of Biden, and nothing was done. Nothing was done. And we're going to act like they're going to deliver on something. So they're not even at their own word. We saw like that guy, the one guy, where was he from? I believe it was Venezuela. That was like, oh, you should have babies here, so they'll give you free money, and then they end up deporting him.
Yes.
You know, so it's people like that that are taking advantage of our system here and our kindness and generosity, the way it's been set up, and they don't get that anywhere else. So they're taking every option that they can to manipulate us, and we've got to move forward from that.
Yeah, definitely. And another, to your point, it was very, I should say, kind of trying to collect my thoughts here, because I was like, my mind was racing as you were talking, just how criminal people have been in their decisions to come here to the United States, and how they've twisted the 14th Amendment to really, support their criminal activity, as opposed to really upholding the law. It's really sad. It, like I said, it's totally sad what's been happening. But I also wanted to know, are you running for office right now?
Yes, this year I'm running for city council. So please, you guys, you can check out my website, Marcus4Rochester.com, and you can donate there even if you're not local. So please do donate. And follow my YouTube, Facebook. You'll find me, Marcus C. Williams. I'm on Twitter. You'll find me at Marcus, the number 4 ROC. And I'm working hard to make a difference and really return a focus on the community versus on people's donors and their own pockets. Because we need to get back to basics, which is actual representation by our elected officials.
Right. And now I also wanted to ask, in your council run, is it a nonpartisan race, or are you guys allowed to, state which party you represent?
So it's partisan, and I'll be on the conservative line, but I'm also working right now to collect signatures to get on an independent line.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on. I'm going to call it the community first line.
Okay, great. I mean, you always have the backing of the Redemption Party. Just let us know if there's any way we can assist you.
I appreciate you guys.
Independent parties need to work together. So anybody out there in Rochester listening, definitely check out usaredemptionparty.com. And, we can have Marcus's back from that angle, because sometimes it'll take more than one party to get you over the line. But we definitely want to, like I said, be there to support you. So do you have any closing statements or anything you want to leave our viewers with on this Mighty Men Thursday? Because this is where I like to give men their platform and opportunity just to share their wisdom with us.
Yes, this is what I'd leave you guys with. You've got to get active. Nobody's coming to save us. It's up to us. And where we can really make a difference and an impact is on the local level. So make sure you start to get active. Go to a city council meeting. Go to a school board meeting. Go to a county ledge or fire district meeting. And just start to get involved. Listen to what's going on. And then see where you can start to make an impact. Because nobody's coming off a white horse. Nobody's coming out of the clouds to come save us. So we have to do it ourselves. And that is what our government is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a government of the people, for the people, by the people. But if we're not participating in it, the government's going to participate in you all at once. Mm-hmm. So you might as well participate in it. And that's what I'll leave you with. Be encouraged. Do not be discouraged. I know it's really difficult and hard out there for many people, and it's easy to get discouraged. But have heart, knowing that things are not the worst that they could be, which means that they can also get better. So that's what I'll leave you with.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us here on Mighty Men Thursday. I'm looking forward to having you back and really just following up with you on your run for council in Rochester. And thank you so much for running and serving in your community.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate you. You guys be blessed and be well.
All right. Thanks, Marcus.
Yep.